Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Deal, where we get real about business, entrepreneurship, and commercial real estate. I'm Lacey Labs, here with my co-host, Laura Martin. In this episode, we're joined by Erica Bryce, owner of City House Bed and Breakfast in Harrisburg City. Erica's journey is rooted in hospitality, community connection, and the intentional creation of spaces where people feel welcomed and known. She shares the path that led her to Harrisburg and ultimately to City House, a vision behind building a boutique guest experience in the heart of the city, and the moments along the way that shaped her approach to both business ownership and community engagement. In this episode, you'll hear her perspective on the role of small, locally owned hospitality spaces play in strengthening a city's identity, the lessons learned from navigating entrepreneurship and unexpected challenges, and what it takes to lead well in a people-centered business, as well as the guidance that she would offer to anyone dreaming of building a community-focused venture of their own. Erica Bryce, welcome to Beyond the Deal. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lacey. Good to be here. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for
Good
coming
to see you,
in,
ladies.
Yeah.
So glad you could come on. Let's start with that first question of just jumping into your background. Tell us your story, Erica. How did you kind of end up in Pennsylvania and in Harrisburg City and get involved in the community and start a city house and just the whole thing? I know there's so many details in there.
Yeah, actually, I grew up in central Pennsylvania, only about an hour northwest, small town, an hour northwest of Harrisburg. Went to Penn State, go Lions, had a great experience there, studied economics in the College of Business, great business degree from Penn State. And then when my now husband and I got engaged, I was living and working in York, just south of here. I was in sales, and my husband got a job in Harrisburg. So we were looking to buy a house in Harrisburg, and he would travel, kind of the streets and enamored with architecture. And so one day, I'll never forget this. He drove me. We started kind of uptown Harrisburg, drove down Green Street, which is one of the most beautiful streets in the city, drove Green Street south and ended right at North Street in the Capital area neighborhood. And I said, this is it. This is where we need to live. So we bought our first house in Harrisburg in the Capital area neighborhood. That brought me to Harrisburg. We loved renovating old houses. Eventually, we were growing our family. Met a lot of people. Got involved with HYP, I have to say, at that point, which we met a lot of people that way. And eventually, we wanted to stay in the city, so we moved to Midtown when we were growing our family, to the house that is now City House. And so we started there, and we loved bed and breakfast. We would travel, we would stay at B&Bs. And the thing about bed and breakfast, meeting people, meeting the hosts, staying locally. We always, and then when we bought City House, we thought this would be a great bed and breakfast someday. It just has beautiful layout. The house was built in 1920s. And if you're familiar with Harrisburg has a lot of great architecture. I think it's one of the wonderful things about the city. And our house was built in the 1920s and needed a lot of work, because when we bought it in the late 90s, the family we bought it from had it for 50, 60 years. And at one point in the 40s, they had cut it in half into two houses. Later on in the 80s, it was a group home. And so there was a sprinkler system kind of over. They cut through some woodwork to kind of put up an external sprinkler system, things like that. So it needed a lot of work, and we enjoyed, living there, raising the kids. But eventually we knew that this would be a great bed and breakfast someday. And
it is.
Yeah, well, thank you. And but like a lot of old houses that hadn't been cared for, it needed a lot of work. And so we ended up, there was a point where my husband got a different job, wanted to move closer to work. So we left the city, but I couldn't leave the house. So we have to keep this. So we turned it into a bed and breakfast. We thought it'd be our retirement plan. We just did a little bit earlier. And we were able to really invest in the historic nature of the property and fix it up, renovate it the way it needed to be. And we knew we were going to open a bed and breakfast. So renovating it for that purpose, was perfect. We could restore it to its original grandeur, but update it. So our tagline with City House is historic charm with modern amenities. And so we wanted to keep a lot of the historic charm.
The bedrooms look like they're out of like a catalog, like I don't know, Pottery Barn or something. They're beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, and what was interesting about the house when it was built in the 20s, so we have 4 guest rooms, all with ensuite baths, and those bathrooms were original.
Oh wow!
So for a house that was built in the 20s,
that's amazing.
To have 4 full bathrooms. Now we had to configure some things to make them ensuite entrances in the room.
Yeah.
One was. We found the old plans eventually of the house, and the one bathroom was the maid's kind of bathroom. So we had to take out, make it an entrance to that from the bedroom and to the bath. And then another one, the entrance was in the hallway. So we had to reconfigure that. So just, took some intentional, reorganizing, but then we gutted all the bathrooms. But we were able to find the floor tile that was the original looking kind of basket weave pattern you see a lot in these homes in the 20s. We were able to find that, source it, Carrara marble, and put that back in. So we were very careful and intentional to redesign it with that charm. And people, that's what people love. And we did a lot, but then we updated a lot of growy fixtures, glass shower doors, and marble counters.
And if people haven't been there, you open it up for, is it Third in the Berg? Do I have that called?
Oh, yes. In the past, yes, we've done Third in the Berg, Third Friday, art, music, Third Fridays of the month. We that gave us a lot of exposure, so that was great to get us known in the city. So we actually opened in 2010. So last year in 2025, we celebrated 15 years being open as a business, and it was also the 100th anniversary of the house from 1925. So, very cool. And houses like this, they're going to be around another 100 years. Solid. The foundation itself, the concrete foundation, it's got to be 2 feet thick. We had to drill a hole through at one point to vent the furnace and the concrete tube that came out of that. It's like, oh my goodness, look how thick this is. And they just don't make them. They just don't make them like that anymore. I
drive by and see weddings, and it's a vibrant property.
Thank you. Yes, we have often hosted weddings, bridal showers, baby showers. So it's an intimate event venue, overnight accommodations, different things. So we enjoy it. We like to, for our customers, I like to think of it as if you're an out-of-town business person. I think we're blessed because we're located right on the edge of Midtown, within walking distance to the downtown, walking distance to the Capitol, walking distance to Midtown amenities, and we're right on the river. We're right on Front Street. So you've got this gorgeous view of the Susquehanna with the miles-long walking trail right out there. People enjoy that. So the location is definitely a blessing. And when people travel from out of town, I like to be kind of your
concierge.
Well, kind of your home away from home.
You are helpful.
Yeah, home away from home. And if you're a local person, a lot of people in the city will send us their guests. They want to come visit, but they don't necessarily have a guest room or space. So we kind of want to be your guest house in the Berg if you're a resident in the city. So yeah, so we enjoy and enjoy all of those aspects.
And you were going to move back in there, but you ended up finding another property.
Well, yes. I mean, when we left the city, I made tearfully requested to my husband that we have to come back someday, and promised me we would. And now we're back in the city 2 miles north in Uptown in another old historic 1920s property that actually at one point was slated for demolition, and we're restoring that. Our children were in high school, older, could come back, and we're enjoying that right now. And we eventually like to do a second bed and breakfast there, I think, so in the future. So, but that's So
well, you guys, when I think of the city, I think of you guys because you're so heavily invested, not just financially, but personally. You always give of your time and talents and.
Yeah. Well, yes. Thank you. I mean, we try. I think. My faith's important to me. I'm a Christian, and I believe we are here to serve others, and God has designed us for community. So I believe, working together, serving each other, investing where you are in your community is what we're here to do. And I believe, particularly for myself as well. And I think we've been blessed to be able to establish roots in the same community for 30 years. My husband and I celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary last year. And to be in the same place and the history and the relationships you build is it's wonderful. And that's really contributed to the business and kind of running it the way I do. I have to say there was a point where I was in between innkeepers, needed some help, and I was out of town. I literally called a friend of mine to help me out, to come over, and I need some help. Can you come clean? Of course, I will be there. And people in this area, salt of the earth, central Pennsylvanians, I have to say, good work ethic. And just good people. Well,
we met when our kids were going into kindergarten.
Yes, our daughters were in school together.
Where your son is now. And you have always, the hospitality, you have always had us over to your house. Like, you're so invested in the school. I think you still, with our kids out of it now, I think you still are. I mean, I just love that. So you're living what you are living your mission.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I do. I enjoy hospitality because people will ask me, how did you, get involved? And I mean, really, it seemed like a natural progression. In college, I had great training as a server at various restaurants, put myself through school working in restaurants. And there was something I learned the first Italian restaurant I worked in. And it was basically to anticipate customer needs. And that's in any, I think, customer service, hospitality, sales, any industry. If you know your customer and can anticipate their needs, you're going to be successful. And I enjoyed doing that. Putting myself through school, it was important that I got good tips to pay the rent. So, you take care of people, but you also generally are interested, you care about people. And so I enjoy doing that. I enjoy, at the bed and breakfast, my favorite thing is to make breakfast and meet people at breakfast, and actually I kind of want to back up for a second. I think it's important that we delineate the difference here between a licensed bed and breakfast and what a lot of people now are familiar with as Airbnbs. So City House Bed and Breakfast is one of 2 licensed bed and breakfasts in the city of Harrisburg, the other being the Manor on Front. Also a great place, just 2. But there's been a proliferation of, I think more appropriately, like short-term rentals, Airbnbs. And it's funny, if you're not familiar with the term, I heard an interview years ago with a gentleman who created the company, it means air bed and breakfast, like air bed. He literally had his friends over to his apartment in San Francisco and put up an air bed for them.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we do not have air beds.
Yeah.
We have real beds. Early on, when I was going to different conferences with other bed and breakfast owners, we had a presentation from someone. And, when you have a bed and breakfast, the bed is half your brand and the breakfast is half your brand.
Yeah.
And you need to do both well. People are there to sleep. People are there, they want to have a good breakfast, and then be on their way. And so we invested well in, quality mattresses. We actually have what are called our Westin Heavenly beds from Westin Hotels. They sell those.
Oh, wow.
I have people who will tell me at breakfast, I never sleep well away from home. That was the best night's sleep
In the
I've
city,
had in
no
a long
less,
time.
if you're not used to it.
Yes. Well, yes.
Because I grew up in the city in Rhode Island, and when I go home, it's hard for me to get back to sleep because I'm now in the suburbs.
Yeah.
But you're right, to have a good bed and a good night's sleep, that's amazing.
Yes. So, so our model as a licensed bed and breakfast is, so we have 4 guest rooms, and people book a room, but you also have free run of the entire house, the entire space downstairs, except the kitchen where we prepare breakfast. And then you'll come down in the morning and have breakfast with other people staying there. I enjoy our communal table at City House. We have in the dining room, we have our communal table where all guests could sit together and have breakfast. But perhaps you're here celebrating a special occasion, anniversary, birthday. We have in our sunroom, which is a lovely room. People enjoy sitting in there and reading. A lot of natural light, palladium windows, overlooks the river. We have some 2 tops in there. You can sit and just have breakfast on your own as well. So we serve a buffet, and there's a guest who likes to come, one of our frequent guests. He comes alone, and he comes in town to visit his son. But if he's alone, he'll sit at the communal table and enjoys talking with everybody else. But he also has a friend who lives locally. If she's able to come over, then they sit at we have a table in the living room where they'll sit together just to chat and catch up, turn on the fire this time of year, and just like a nice little place for them to sit and catch up. So it's we try to offer, meet people, where they're at with what they need.
If I travel alone, I'll usually stay in a hotel room. But if I have, anybody else, I always try to get an Airbnb. And I would say yours is probably the top tier standard of what I've experienced. I've found interesting lately that a lot of them are like, you can use a room in my house, like just come join. I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, that's how. I think
and breakfast is rare.
Yes, well, exactly. So that's what separates us as a licensed, bed and breakfast. From the Airbnb, and people want that. People want to have someone on staff there, have someone to greet them, make them breakfast. We reach out to people ahead of time. And when I say we, I currently have the most amazing innkeeper, Carolyn, who's amazing. But it's important when people make a reservation, they might book a year out, they might book a week out. But we reach out to them, we call them ahead of time and ask them, why? Oh, we're looking forward to having you. What brings you to Harrisburg? Do you have any allergies? We try to accommodate food allergies. Why are you here? We'll offer maybe some special, like in-room chocolate covered strawberries if they're celebrating something. We had someone 2 weekends ago celebrating a birthday. Try to do extra special touches for things like that. So that's.
I had a businesswoman who flew up once a month for a meeting, and she always stayed there from Florida.
Oh, Florida, yes, yeah. Especially this beginning of this season and kind of at the end of the winter season, we had a lot of people from the north coming down, going to their place in Florida. And we'll see them on the way down, and then we'll see them on the way back. They're in Canada or the Northeast. So that's been fun.
Beef, even in real estate, is pictures usually don't do places justice. You show up and you're like, well, that is not what I was expecting. I would not say that about yours. I've stayed at your place, and
thank you.
I actually I bought a gift card at a charity auction. I'm coming back.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Well, we'll look forward to having it. Well, that is good. And it's funny. We've actually had people who they'll park in the driveway. They'll leave their bags, maybe even leave the spouse in the car or something, and they'll come in and they'll check it out and be like, "Is this what am I getting? Yeah, is this are the pictures actually accurate?" Oh yeah, like okay, and then they'll come in because sometimes you never know.
I've left them. There was one in Florida near Aubrey. I just left. I was like going back to my favorite hotel. I didn't care what it cost. I was like, I was out of there. So, yeah.
I think you guys have done an amazing job of creating not just a beautiful space, which it absolutely is. Like the millwork in that building is amazing. Like the fireplace in the dining room, just that wood and the built-ins. Like there's so many little details about that house just blow you away. They don't exist in very many places, and it's beautiful.
Thank you. It is. That's walnut, and it's the house is interesting because it's very eclectic. That fireplace I would call is a federal style, with built-ins on the side, and it was interesting. There's recessed built-in cabinets with leaded glass doors, but we found those doors when we bought the house. They were in the basement. And damaged, and there had been in the 72 the Agnes flood. Our house didn't flood. We're actually in the 500-year floodplain, even though we're on the river. Right where we are in the 900 block of North Front Street there, the river's at its widest, and it's higher. Yep. It's higher there. So we didn't flood, but like a lot of the homes, there was actually water in the basement kind of from drainage back up. And so the doors were damaged, took them to a local glass place. A man fixed them up, stained them. We put them back on. I mean, it was pretty great. The treasures, the treasures that we found, and some of the French doors too were in the basement because when it was a group home, they got rid of the glass doors. Right. Couldn't have that. Right. But thankfully they were saved.
I was sad to see your tree come down in that storm.
Oh yeah, that was sad.
A few years ago. That was interesting, that we had an oak tree that, I mean, it had to be there. I think they possibly built the house around the tree, if not planted it the same year they built the house. Yeah. But that oak tree was gorgeous. And then that storm we had a couple years ago, the hail, it was just, it was almost like a perfect storm of events. Yes. But I have to say, when that tree went down, it fell across the front of the yard, the sidewalk, the 4 lanes on Front Street. No one was hurt.
And it didn't touch your house.
It didn't touch the house.
That's amazing.
It didn't touch the house. And that was one of my things was always, if this tree ever goes. And we we have a regular tree service on it. It was, taking care of it, when, we took care of it regularly because we love this tree. But it was a blessing when it fell. There were no cars, no people.
That is crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I have to say the city actually at that storm, they did a great job. They came by and got rid of it. It took some time because it took down an electrical light pole when it went with it. So Front Street was closed for a better part of 24, 36 hours. Yeah. Wow. But people were driving over. People were driving over and taking pictures of it. And even to one point, someone pulled in the back parking lot when my tree guy was trying to come in with the big crane to lift the bottom of it, and this guy's blocking the driveway, and he's like, "I just want to see this." It's like, "Okay, sir, but quickly because my tree guy's right behind you here."
That's like when the bridge went.
Yeah.
I parked. I parked on the 581 bridge and watched it. We all did.
Yeah,
so sad.
Down the river.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I hate that.
So, there's certain iconic things, and even now, because if you're driving across, the Harvey Taylor Bridge coming in from Camp Hill, we're just the third property on the left there on Front Street, and our tree was so it was so iconic. But now you can see the house, which the house is beautiful. It's easier to see the house, and we have this lovely green tile roof. So
it is. It's still beautiful.
Yeah. So thank you.
But I think about all the beauty that City House is physically. For me personally, I think the experience you create of being there. I've been there for so many different things. I got to photograph a wedding there. I've been at baby showers and events, special church things we've done. We've hosted Bible studies there. I've been at Third in the Berg probably 20 times at your place, and there's so many. I've photo shoots. We've done photo shoots there.
Yes,
so many cool things, and you and your staff make it just an amazing time every time. I mean, little details like Carolyn's rose charcuterie board meats.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like just these things that just create beauty and memories and just make it special. And just how you guys are as a staff and as a team.
Yeah.
So,
It's
it's a really
just
beautiful
talking
thing.
to a leader, the guy that trains leaders, and that's your leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
And
thank
your
you.
heart for.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's important. The details matter.
Yeah.
The tiny details matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when guests will notice those things. And I tell my staff, if you take care of the tiny things, then people know you've thought about the big things.
Yeah.
When you see all those little details, it's important. It shows that you care, and we care. Everyone that walks through the door, we want them to have that great experience. One thing that's been great that I think keeps a lot of our business travelers coming back is we will store things for you. We had this woman who would come from Connecticut twice a month, and she liked to fly carry-on. But then, you have all your toiletries, you have all your things. And she had 2 pillows that she liked. She liked her own pillow. So I said, we can keep these things for you. She's like, oh, yeah. So we would store them. We would store them in our laundry room, and then right before she would come, we would bring them out, put her pillows, put her toiletry bag, have everything ready for her. She would stay, and she always had the same room. She loved our Helen room. It was special to her. She loved the Helen room. And when she would leave, we would collect it.
Love that.
Yeah, store it again. So just the to create an experience for someone where they just feel like home.
It's rare.
But particularly for business travelers, when you're traveling a lot, that I'd imagine that can get old.
Yeah.
So if you can create that atmosphere.
When I think of you, I think of your energy, your positive energy, but I also think you're an idea person, but I also think you're a yes person. If someone asks you, like you did a crazy thing for me at the bed and breakfast, and you're like, yes, like nope, you don't even think about it. And most people be like, no.
Yeah, no, that's so. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because that is one thing I try to tell people and the staff is say yes whenever possible. Sometimes if it's too crazy, but if we can say
or
yes,
try.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, try. And people. All right. So one thing I said yes to. This is pretty funny. So we had a frequent guest who comes. Have you heard of pawpaws? Do you know what pawpaws are?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an indigenous fruit,
Yep.
To North America.
Yep.
So they ripen and grow in this area. They're plentiful, just out in the woods in this area. Yep. And I had this gentleman who comes from Maine often. He would come down here, and then it was, I think, a client or one of his employees from down here said, we're going to go on a hike and collect pawpaws. And I was like, what is this? So he brings them back to the bed and breakfast, and it must be half a bushel.
Yeah.
I gotta look these things up.
Pawpaws. Well,
It's like a mango.
yeah, it's kind of and they taste like a cross between a banana and a mango.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need to eat these for breakfast. And I'm like, okay. So I peeled some. We had like kind of a little fruit salad because they say it's good to eat them raw. But then I made muffins, pawpaw muffins.
Wow.
We took a recipe. We made pawpaw pancakes.
Oh my God.
And in the morning, he was so excited about it. He's the only person I've let come in the kitchen and actually help with breakfast. It was fine that morning the other guests were either doing in-room or had left. So it was just him eating, because I'm like, okay, you can't cook for other people. You know?
Yeah.
But you're not certified. So, but he and I together in the kitchen made pawpaw pancakes, and he was so excited. And he's the only person to this day who's ever done that, and he'll be the last too.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
yeah, but just things like that
You made his day.
yeah, and we had pawpaw things all week. So so that it was a lot of fun. And I had 2 different muffin recipes, and we were evaluating. He's like, yeah, this one is better than this one. And then he took some to his meeting that he had, and so it was a good time.
I through your bed and breakfast, I met a I'm going to mess up their names. Eva and Peter?
Oh, Bruce and
Bruce
Eva.
and Eva.
Bruce and Eva.
Yeah, for sure.
He's an architect. I've run into him all over the place. And then she had her donut stand
Yeah.
before that fire.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I run into them and their kids. And
So
so funny.
yeah. And, well, you touched on a great thing. So just when you have a business, though, the synergy that can happen
Yeah.
from that. And I have to tell you, because sometimes people will ask me, what's something you've learned or you've grown from in having your business. And I have to say, early on, I had this image of what an innkeeper would be. I mean, when I started the business, I was a primary parent. I actually had another job because I was like, how is this going to work? Is this going to survive? So I needed an innkeeper, and I had this idea. My first innkeeper was great. She was young, but she got married. She left, and I needed to replace her. She told me about this guy, Bruce, and a friend of hers, and he was running an inn in Ocean City, but he was going to be coming to the Harrisburg area. And as soon as I heard Bruce, as soon as I heard a guy, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just like, oh, that's not the image of innkeeper I kind of had.
Right.
And I said, oh, okay. And I actually hired someone else. I hired another woman. Hot mess. Big mistake. Didn't work out. So then a couple months later, I was talking again to my innkeeper and former innkeeper. We kept in touch. And she said, well, Bruce is still looking for a job. I'm like, okay. So I'm in Ocean City. I'm actually in Ocean City at a friend's beach house. And I talked to Bruce, and I said, well, we're going to be in Ocean City. Do you want to have an interview? He came over to our friend's beach house. He and his wife, Eva, brought the most amazing baklava. She's
fantastic.
Yeah, she's Iraqi, amazing. They came over. I interviewed this guy. My husband met him. My kids met him. Our friends we were staying with met him. Everybody loved him.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, I was like, this guy is going to be great. And I learned a lot there. You can't have preconceived notions when hiring people.
Yeah.
You have to kind of, I think, give everybody a chance. He was one of the best innkeepers we've ever had. He was there for a couple years. But what was interesting is they were moving to Harrisburg because Eva, his wife, was going to Hack. The culinary school at Hack is great, and she wanted to learn to bake and going to culinary school. And he was an architect by trade, but so they loved old houses. So they lived there, ran the B&B for me while she went to school. So he was the innkeeper. So did that for 2 years while she was in school, and then he went going back to architecture. And she said, well, could I be your innkeeper? I was like, yes. So they stayed, but then she was the innkeeper, and kind of had the benefit of both of them. Yeah. That was fabulous, and they're still good friends to this day. But then she left and opened Evanella Donuts in the Broad Street Market. Yep. And
where your kids worked? Cause
I
was there buying them. I saw them.
Okay, yeah. So she hired. Actually, my daughter Audrey worked for her first employee, and worked there for a couple years, and it was just amazing. So then I would pick up donuts on my way, doing breakfast at City House. I'm like, let's pick up some Evanella donuts, support her, through that, and people were coming to the B&B who knew them. Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, these are Eva's donuts, and and just how you can tie everything together, and actually. Yeah, Eva, no, spoiler alert, but Eva's, my daughter Audrey's going to be getting married. Eva's making her cake, and there will be Evanella donuts, one night only, because hopefully Broad Street Market will come back. I do see they are hopefully making some progress on the brick building. Yeah.
That was the most beautiful building.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, and the market still is open. I do want to say, like the stone building in the front is open, and then they put up the temporary tent for some of the vendors. But I mean, everyone in Midtown is excited for the Broad Street. Yeah. Well, actually, throughout the city, and it was an anchor and a cornerstone. People would come to Harrisburg to go to the market, and it helped. helps the city. So
Yeah.
we're all looking forward to that.
She got me hooked
coming
on that
back.
ice cream place
Oh, Honeyberry.
Oh, Honey Bear.
in the front building. And then I walked across to Radish and Rye. And
Yep.
Oh,
I'll be moving to the city
Radish and
before you
Rye's-
know it.
I know Radish and Rye is one of the best grocery stores. Yeah, and that's what a success story there. The market served almost as a business incubator.
Yeah.
For they were open 3 days a week, and now they have a brick and mortar location just in Midtown, right across the street, and they're open, I believe, every day.
Every day now.
She should do like an article for the magazine,
The Berg.
The Berg.
Who?
Because you.
Oh, me.
Because you're so, you know everything that's going on. You're so involved and connected and interesting.
They probably just call her on a weekly basis.
No. Actually, well, that's funny you say that. I love the Berg, and there are fabulous people that are doing great things for the city. That has been great for the city.
Yeah.
But I do. Actually, and even I've always kind of been like this, but especially more recently, just the need for us to support everything in the city, all businesses, midtown, downtown, and I go to the grocery stores. Grocery stores in the city. Yep. We have Radish and Rye. There's actually a great one up on 6th Street that I like. Fresh Market. Yeah. Well, Fresh Market on 6th Street.
Market, yes.
And they have this amazing Latin American food, fresh food bar there.
They have a lot of cool ingredients that you can't always find.
Yes.
That's one of the really cool things.
I like to make. My son likes it. I make enchiladas, and I'll go up there to get the authentic queso and the sofrita, the fresh sofrita, and it's great. You can find everything you need in the city.
You can.
I believe that. And the other day, a friend of mine got in touch, and she's on the West Shore, and she said, "Let's get together for coffee." So I said, "Well, we need to go in the city." And we have lots of options.
Denim.
Well, we have Little Lamps, we have Denim, even elementary coffee.
Yep.
And actually, Little Lamps on Green, I love. Elementary coffee, if you haven't been there on North Street, that building itself is a success story. When we moved to the city, that had been a burned out, I think, pizza place. It literally, if you walked into that building, you could see the sky.
Yeah.
And people didn't touch it for decades.
Yep.
And then thankfully, a neighbor on North Street purchased it, fixed it up, got the anchor, and again, elementary was in the market, in the Broad Street Market.
Is that near Montequie?
Yes, it's a couple
right
doors
next to
down
it.
from Montequie.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, Andrea, great business owner there, and then and I believe there's apartments upstairs. But as someone who, our first neighborhood was the Capitol area neighborhood, which is kind of, it's State Street to Forester, front to 3rd. That was our first neighborhood, and we love it. And we would walk by this abandoned building, and to see that thriving as a business, and by a resident. And that's what a lot of the city has become, just people who love it, live there, and say, well, this is great, but that place next to me needs help, so I'll take care of that. And that's how the current Harrisburg City has really developed and thrived, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a lot of personal people taking ownership.
Exactly.
There are.
Exactly, and just more people moving in. When we first bought our house, I got a lot of the way I got plugged into the city and kind of with different organizations was through Harrisburg Young Professionals, because right when that had started, we had just moved into the city, my husband and I, and I was checking that out and got involved. And then I'll never forget, one day we were living in our house on Brick Street. The president at the time knocked on my door and said, "Harrisburg Young Professionals, we want to organize a home tour, and I want you to organize it and head it up." I was like, "Me? Why me? I've never done anything like that." And he's like, "You could do it, and you love the city. You love living in the city," which I did. And at the time, it wasn't that popular. At the time, one of HYP's platforms was to get 99 new residents in the city, and we did it through, they were able to do it. And it's so interesting because at the time, Greg Rothman, who's now a state senator, He was on the board. He was one of the founders and was a realtor. And he organized a home buying seminar.
Yep.
We had that the night before the home tour. And our focus with home tours, and I love Historic Harrisburg Association has put on home tours for years, particularly the Candlelight House Tour.
Yep.
Our current house was just on that this past December. Love what they do to showcase the homes and the architecture. So what we wanted to do was, this was a spring home tour, and it was designed to focus on living in the city, like city living. It's not necessarily about your decor or the house. It's about why you chose to live in the city. And maybe you just have a mattress on the floor in your house, but you're in the city, you love the city, and what do you love about it? And at the time, we had local restaurants donating food and some local breweries donating some beverages. And we would encourage people to talk with the homeowners, stay and mingle. Don't just walk through the house and leave. This is your chance to meet people. Tell your guests coming through your home why you love the city. Have try some, fare from our local restaurants, and that was great. And that really, and I'm happy to say that house tour is still continuing today. HYP has been thriving. I have some friends at church who are still involved. And I always, kind of try to stay updated. And they're having their annual meeting, I think, coming up later this month. And and just, they're going to be assisting, kind of focusing and, on the revitalization of downtown that everybody's talking about and what we want to do. And HYP has to be a big part of that, because they have done so much for building Harrisburg as it is now. So, but
My first interaction with City House was as an HYP member going on the home tour.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yep. Very first one, probably May of 2011, maybe ish.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But it's
great.
I know, and it's important. It's nice when people open up your home and to kind of show what things are like. And actually, it's interesting. So this past December, our current home where we are now is on the Candlelight Home Tour for Historic Harrisburg. And this woman I know from actually school, her husband comes through with her daughter who's 15. She wanted to go on the tour because she loves historic homes. She's 15 years old. That family, the mom texted me earlier, about a week ago, they are looking at a house that's for sale in our neighborhood. Their daughter wants to move into an historic home.
That's awesome.
And they're all excited about it. And it's interesting. I currently know 3 families with various ages of children and backgrounds, all looking to move into the city.
Yep.
From the suburbs. It's fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think we know a couple of the same ones.
We have some of those people in common.
It is. It's amazing. The city's there's ways that the city just has these niches and things. You don't get that kind of architecture outside the city very often. It is. It's amazing.
Well, and the walkability, and even this past snowstorm. My daughter my daughter lives behind City House, and she works part-time there. But in the snowstorm, she walked 2 miles north up to our house. You couldn't, it was hard to drive.
Yep.
She's like, what? She's like, oh, I'm going to walk it. Can we come up and we stay with you? I was like, yeah. So she came up and we, made food together. We played games, we watched movies, and she stayed the night. And it was just so great because you can do that. You can walk to places. And it was reminiscent of, back in the late 90s, there was a big snowstorm that shut down the city for a couple days. And we were living
96, we decided, right?
Yeah, 96. And we were living at Briggs Street at the time. And there was on 2nd Street is it's the Mad Moose Tavern now, but it used to be called Midtown Tavern. We love the Midtown Tavern. So everything's closed. You can't, no one's driving anywhere. You can't get anywhere. We walked to the Midtown Tavern. That was open because the people who worked there lived above it. So they came down, they opened up. We walk in there, it's packed. It's packed. Everybody in the city in Midtown's in Midtown Tavern. And we're like, we're trying to order some food. And just as soon as you would order something, they would come up and they'd say, 86 wings, we're out of stuff, because they couldn't get a food delivery.
Yeah.
So it was, whatever they had, but it was pretty, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of community building happens in those situations. Yeah. And you see everybody there. Our neighborhood, doctors, attorneys, teachers. We had a retired nun living next to us, and then this multi-generational Greek family who the grandparents didn't speak English. I mean, so many people, all kinds.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
I think that the snowstorm 10 years ago when we got 26 inches, I think it was 2016, that we had a similar experience living in the city, got snowed in. You couldn't drive anywhere. I mean, what do you do? 26 inches of snow in the city. You might as well have 4 feet. Like they can't put it anywhere, right? So our street's totally closed. You can't get your car out. So for like 3 days straight, we just walked. And we walked to Zero. At the time, Zero Day was in the cinema.
Yes.
And so we would walk there. We'd walk to Little Lamps because those two businesses they had local people who could walk to work and open it up. And I'm just the other day when we had the big snowstorm, I reposted a picture from 10 years ago because it was like almost exactly 10 years to the day that storm happened to the one we just had. Yeah. It wasn't quite the same level. This one we had just a little bit disappointed. We needed like another 10 inches to make it
stuck.
Be there a little bit longer.
But it was just so fun because we point out these old pictures and you're like, you met people that you still have these meaningful connections with back in that snowstorm because we were all kind of stuck on the streets together and walking around and going to the same places. And it's a neat community builder.
Yeah, it is. We still talk about it. I have my first friend that I met and made in Harrisburg has since moved to North Carolina, and we still reminisce about those times and and still happening because yes, you can get to work when you live nearby and you can walk and you just don't have that out everywhere outside of the city. So we love it.
You've been so involved in the city, Erica, for so many years. Before we wrap up, but just would love to hear just a little bit of your thoughts because I know you have been on the Capital Region Water Board. You've been on multiple different schools that you've maybe not, I know you've been on a couple school boards, but just so many things. I don't think I could even list how many boards you've been on or how many you're currently on. You've been involved in Harrisburg School recently. You're helping them with their theater production. There's so many cool projects that you've been involved in. So just tell us a few of your favorites and just maybe even encouragements of why you would like to be involved like that and how other people can do the same thing.
Yes. Well, actually, so my latest passion project, which I'm very excited about, is the Harrisburg High School musical theater program. They're putting on after 25 years, like they say on Broadway, the theater was dark. Mm-hmm. And last year they brought musical theater came back, and I have to give a shout out to Jacob Trimble Waddell, who a Messiah student, was a friend of my daughter's, who music teacher wanted to bring theater back. He's doing a great job. They did a production last year. This year they're doing Once on This Island, which is this Afro-Caribbean telling kind of the Little Mermaid story. Fun. So that's happening March 27th, 28th, 29th. Get your tickets. But just I got involved with that just, knowing Jacob through my daughter, but also I saw the effect of theater with my children at school and how people you come alive, and then theater builds community. Yeah. Like nothing I've ever seen. Whether you're on stage building sets with your artistic ability, or you're an electronic nerd and you're working the lights and the sound, and there's a place for everybody. Yeah. And I really enjoy that. I think years ago I was in Leadership Harrisburg area, which is a great program, and they focus on building servant leaders. Mm-hmm. And if you're in your community, you have a responsibility to give back. Yep. And that was a great training program. It was a 9-month. They focused on different things, 1 day a month, and so I think that really kind of spurred me to get more involved. But yeah, whether it's a municipal board or a nonprofit, there's people out there that need our help. And if you can lend your time and talents to things, I think personally we're obligated to do so. Yeah. If we, God has blessed us with gifts and abilities, and we should share those. So I do enjoy doing that. And having City House, it's kind of interesting how everything can kind of flow together. So like tomorrow night, the Booster Club is meeting at City House. We've done some Zoom meetings, and we had met at the high school before, but we're going to meet at City House, and it's like, it's a warm, cozy environment. Let's get together there. We've currently a big project I'm working on, which I feel very strongly about, is there's a new church plant in Midtown Community Church. It's been 2 years now, going on 3. And that was exciting because 2 suburban churches sent a pastor and some of their members to intentionally started a church in the city. And it's been growing. It's been fabulous. My husband and I are very involved in that. And
so am I.
Yes, as is Lacey. Yep. Yes. So we know each other from that.
Yep.
So it's very exciting to see that energy and to be a part of it. And then that just grows more people's enthusiasm. And, and there's, people who attend our church who don't live in the city, want to move in the city. And, and a lot of Messiah students are staying in the area. They love the area and getting involved. So it's great. I think we're blessed in this area to have a lot of colleges.
Yeah.
And a talent to keep and retain people. So
yeah, the synergies is a great point, Erica, because it is. I mean, like, that has opened doors. I wouldn't have ever served inside of Ben Franklin Elementary, probably, but being part of that church plant has just opened doors for different kinds of community service, too, and connection. And it is beautiful the ways that different doors open, and yet the things you do also can complement each other, especially in that same community, because you just know people and how to connect the dots to help things happen.
Yeah. Well, and I have to tell you one thing I was thinking of in kind of coming here and how everything has kind of led to everything else. I enjoy I get immense joy from connecting people, whether that is a friend who's looking for a job and a friend who's looking to hire, or like with the High School Musical, for example. Jacob was new, didn't know a lot of people. I was at a neighborhood Christmas party sharing that, hey, musical's coming back. And one of my neighbors is on the Harrisburg School District Foundation.
Oh, cool.
Connected them. The foundation supported, was able to donate money to pay for the licensing, to do the musical. And, when you know your community, you can make things like that happen. Yeah. And I think that's a great gift. Yeah. And then I was kind of thinking, with running a business, there's a lot going on, right? It can eat you up, right? And I think you can spend your life, running your business, or you can use your business to run your life. And I try to, kind of do that. How can having City House help, my life, the lives of others, the lives of people I'm involved with? We have a lot of Midtown Community Church events at City House. I'm happy to do that. It's awesome. Yeah, I think it's been great. It's been a great ride. It's been great 15 years. Looking for another 15. And yeah.
Well, Erica, I have a closer question I'd love to ask you. We ask everybody this question, so I'm ready for your answer. If you could go back and start over, right? Go back to right out of college, starting your career, but keep all this knowledge and experience that you've gained from your years of working in life. Is there anything that you would do differently than the way your life has played out, and why would that be?
Oh, anything differently? Well, from a business point of view, or just like, I think I feel blessed. It's funny because when you look at things, every decision, every choice you have made has led you to where you are today. Yeah. And I love where I am today. I love, the family I have, the community I have. Yeah. I think Yeah, I think God's been good. God's been good, and I love that. I think looking back, I think business wise, I would have done maybe a couple things differently. It was funny. I watched your interview with Lauren and Larry from the Berg, and it got me thinking, about advertising. When I opened my business, I hired someone to help me brand, do a logo, things like that. But then I kind of, I was like, okay, thanks. I can take it from here.
Yeah.
And I just realized, no, advertising has changed, marketing has changed, and we do some social media. We take advantage of what we can. With our reservation system, has some training that we've been able to utilize to kind of do some things different, do some marketing. But I think I would be more intentional about that because how advertising and marketing has changed over the years. I would probably do that differently. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know, kind of no regrets. I think things have worked out pretty well, and
awesome.
Not sure if that's
no, it's great
to get, but
we've had people say they wouldn't change a thing. I mean, it's just everybody thinks about it differently, and it's just fascinating to see how people interact with that idea. But thanks for your reflections, and thanks so much for coming on and being our guest.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's just been fun just to chat. I feel like we were saying it's coffee with friends.
Catching up.
We're gonna tell future guests, just come on, it's just coffee with friends. That's all it is.
Yes. We might rebrand.
Well, thank you so much, Erica.
Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That's it for today's conversation with Erica Bryce from City House Bed and Breakfast. I hope you found her insights into hospitality, entrepreneurship, and community-centered leadership as inspiring and energizing as we did. You'll find all the links to connect with her and with us at SB & Lattice in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on Beyond the Deal. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and keep building your story.